The offices of Horizon Tech buzzed with panic. Red warning lights flashed across every screen in the building. The company's main servers were crashing, and nobody knew why. Robert Chen, the 42-year-old billionaire owner of Horizon Tech, rushed through the glass doors of his skyscraper. His normally perfect suit was wrinkled, and dark circles shadowed his eyes. He hadn't slept in 36 hours. "What's happening?" he demanded, striding past the security desk. His assistant, Lily, ran to keep up with him. "It's getting worse, sir. The entire system is failing. We could lose everything." Robert punched the elevator button repeatedly. The doors opened with a soft ding that felt oddly calm amid the chaos. "Where's our tech team?" he asked as they rode up to the 30th floor. "They've been working nonstop," Lily explained. "But they can't find the source of the problem. It's like the system is eating itself from the inside." Robert closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Horizon Tech had taken him 15 years to build. They were on the verge of launching their biggest project yet, an artificial intelligence system that could revolutionize healthcare. Now everything was at risk. The elevator doors opened to reveal a scene of complete chaos. Programmers hunched over keyboards, shouting across the room. Some looked like they might cry. "Mr. Chen, thank goodness you're here," called out Devin, the head of IT. His usual confident demeanor had crumbled. "We've tried everything, nothing's working." Robert rolled up his sleeves. "Show me what we're dealing with." For the next 4 hours, Robert worked alongside his team. They checked every line of code, every server connection, every possible entry point for a virus or malware. Nothing made sense. The system was collapsing, and they couldn't stop it. By midnight, half the team had given up. They sat slumped against walls, staring blankly at their phones or the ceiling. "Maybe we should call it a night," Devin suggested quietly. "Start fresh in the morning." Robert shook his head. "If we don't fix this by morning, there won't be a company to save." As the team argued about what to try next, a soft hum filled the room. The cleaning crew had arrived for their nightly rounds. Most of the tech team barely noticed as the cleaners moved quietly around them, emptying trash bins and wiping down surfaces. Robert rubbed his eyes, trying to focus on the screen in front of him. The code blurred, making his headache worse. He needed coffee. Standing up to stretch, he noticed one of the cleaning staff pausing near Devin's workstation. She was staring at the screen with unusual focus. While the other cleaners moved efficiently through their tasks, this woman stood still, eyes narrowed at the error messages flashing across the monitor. Robert wouldn't have thought anything of it, except for what happened next. The woman tilted her head, then reached into her pocket and pulled out a small notebook. She jotted something down, glanced at the screen again, and wrote more notes. Curious, Robert walked over. "Excuse me," he said quietly. The woman jumped, quickly, tucking the notebook away. "I'm sorry, sir, I was just—" "No, it's okay," Robert said. "I noticed you looking at the screen. Do you understand what you're seeing?" She hesitated, glancing around as if looking for an escape route. "I should get back to work." "Please," Robert said, "we're desperate here. If you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them." The woman looked down at her cleaning cart, then back at Robert. Something in his expression must have convinced her. "I think your problem isn't in the code itself," she said softly. "It's in how the systems are talking to each other." Robert blinked in surprise. "What do you mean?" "May I?" she asked, gesturing to the keyboard. Robert nodded, watching in amazement as she pulled up a command prompt and began typing rapidly. Her fingers flew across the keys with practiced ease. "I'm Anna," she said without looking up. "I clean this floor every night." "I'm Robert," he replied, then added, "I own the company." Her typing paused for just a fraction of a second before continuing. "I know who you are, Mr. Chen." By now, Devin had noticed what was happening. He walked over, frowning. "Sir, what's going on?" "Anna is helping us," Robert said simply. Devin looked skeptical but stayed quiet as Anna continued to work. More team members gathered around, watching with a mixture of curiosity and doubt. "There," Anna said after several minutes. "This is your problem." She pointed to a section of code that looked like gibberish to Robert. Your new AI system is creating feedback loops in your main database. It's like it's getting stuck in a conversation with itself and overloading everything else. Devin leaned in closer, studying the screen. His eyes widened. That actually makes sense. Can we fix it? Robert asked. Anna nodded. I think so. You need to create a buffer between the AI and the main system, like a translator that prevents miscommunication. For the next hour, Anna worked alongside the tech team. The atmosphere in the room had completely changed. The despair was gone, replaced by focused energy. Even the most skeptical team members were now asking Anna questions, nodding at her explanations. As the clock hit 2 a.m., Anna hit the final key and looked up. Try it now. Devin initiated a system reboot. Everyone held their breath as the monitors flashed, then gradually returned to normal. The red warning lights disappeared. The system was stabilizing. The room erupted in cheers. People who had been ready to collapse from exhaustion now jumped up and down, hugging each other. Robert found himself grinning for the first time in days. When the celebration quieted down, he turned to Anna. You just saved my company. How do you know so much about computer systems? Anna smiled slightly. I have a computer science degree from Georgia Tech. I graduated top of my class 5 years ago. Then why are you? Robert stopped himself. Working. As a cleaner? Anna finished for him. She shrugged. 200 applications, 50 interviews, no offers. Eventually, bills needed to be paid. Robert stared at her, speechless. Here was someone with enough talent to save his billion-dollar company, reduced to cleaning offices at night because no one would give her a chance. That ends tonight, he said firmly. I want you on my team, not as a consultant or a temporary fix. I want to create a position for you. Anna's expression remained cautious. Just like that? Just like that, Robert confirmed. You've proven yourself more valuable than half my tech department in one night. She studied his face, perhaps looking for signs that he wasn't serious. I'd need to think about it. Of course, Robert said. Take all the time you need, but know that the offer is real, and it comes with the salary and benefits you deserve. As the rest of the team began cleaning up, planning next steps, Anna returned to her cleaning cart. Robert watched her, his mind racing. How many other brilliant minds were out there, overlooked and underestimated? How many innovations had his company missed because they weren't looking in the right places? One thing was certain. Horizon Tech would never be the same again. And neither would Robert Chen. Anna didn't sleep that night. She sat on the edge of her bed in her small apartment, staring at the business card Robert Chen had pressed into her hand. Call me directly, he'd said. No going through HR, no jumping through hoops. I want you on my team. The morning sun was just peeking through her thin curtains when she made her decision. With slightly shaking hands, she dialed the number. Robert answered on the second ring. Anna, I was hoping you'd call. I'd like to accept your offer, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. But I have conditions. There was a pause on the other end of the line, then Robert chuckled. I'm listening. I want to build my own team, people who've been overlooked, like me. And I want to finish what I started last night, making your AI system more stable and secure. Done, Robert said without hesitation. When can you start? I need to give notice at my cleaning job and I'll take care of that, Robert interrupted. Can you come in today? I'll double your current pay until we sort out your official position and salary. Anna took a deep breath. I'll be there at noon. When she arrived at Horizon Tech later that day, the security guard didn't recognize her, at first without her cleaning uniform. But once she gave her name, his eyes widened. Ms. Diallo, Mr. Chen left instructions. You're to go straight up to the executive floor. The elevator ride felt surreal. Just yesterday, she'd been pushing her cleaning cart into this same elevator. Invisible to most of the people who worked here, now she was heading to the executive floor to meet with the billionaire owner. The doors opened to reveal a sleek reception area where Lily, Robert's assistant, waited with a warm smile. Anna, everyone's talking about what you did last night. Come on, Robert's waiting for you. She led Anna through glass doors into a spacious office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Robert stood when they entered, genuine pleasure lighting his face. There she is, the woman who saved Horizon Tech. Anna shook his outstretched hand. I just spotted what everyone else was too tired to see. Don't downplay it, Robert said, gesturing for her to sit. Devin told me they would never have found that solution, even with fresh eyes. You saw connections no one else did. Over the next hour, they hammered out the details of Anna's new role. She would lead a special division focused on AI security and integration, reporting directly to Robert. Her salary would be more than 10 times what she made as a cleaner. She'd have the freedom to build her team, with Robert's full support. One more thing, Robert said as their meeting wrapped up. I want you to tell me your story, the real story, how someone with your talents ended up cleaning offices at night. Anna hesitated. She'd told this story in bits and pieces many times, mostly to uninterested ears. But something about Robert's expression told her he genuinely wanted to understand. I grew up in a small apartment with my mom and 2 younger brothers, she began. My mom worked 3 jobs to keep us fed. Computers were my escape. Our school had an old lab with outdated machines, but I spent every free minute there. Learned to code on YouTube tutorials and free online courses. Robert listened, nodding occasionally, as Anna described her scholarship to Georgia Tech, her perfect GPA, her internship at a startup that went bust before they could hire her full-time. After graduation, I was so hopeful, she continued. I had the skills, the degree, great references. But then came the interviews. She told him about showing up to interviews where the interviewer's face would fall slightly upon seeing her. About technical questions that seemed designed to trip her up. About being told she wasn't a culture fit, or that they'd gone with a candidate with more experience. After 6 months of rejections, my savings were gone. My student loans came due. I took the cleaning job to keep a roof over my head, telling myself it was temporary. But temporary turned into 5 years, Robert finished for her. Anna nodded. I kept applying for tech jobs on my days off. Kept building projects on my ancient laptop to keep my skills sharp. But after a while, the gaps in my resume got bigger, and the callbacks got fewer. Robert was quiet for a moment. And yet, when you saw our systems failing last night, you still stepped in. Most people would have kept their heads down, done their job, and gone home. Anna smiled slightly. I guess I couldn't help myself. Fixing broken code is in my blood. The days that followed were a whirlwind. Anna was given an office on the 30th floor, right in the heart of the tech department. Word of what she'd done had spread throughout the company, and most of the tech team greeted her with respect and curiosity. A few, however, were clearly skeptical. Devin, the head of IT, was polite but distant. Anna could sense his discomfort at having someone who used to clean his office now working alongside him as an equal. Don't mind Devin, Lily told her during a lunch break. His ego's bruised, that's all. He'll get over it. By the end of her first week, Anna had assembled a list of candidates for her new team. She'd spent hours searching through LinkedIn profiles and resumed databases looking for patterns similar to her own. Brilliant people with unconventional backgrounds who might have been overlooked. When she presented the list to Robert, he raised an eyebrow. These are interesting choices. They're the right choices, Anna said firmly. Take Miguel. He taught himself coding while working as a janitor at a high school. Built an entire student management system that the school now uses, but no tech. Company will touch him because he doesn't have a degree. Robert studied the list more carefully. And this woman, Lee, she's 58 years old. And has been building networks since before either of us was born, Anna replied. But she can't get past the first interview because tech companies want young, fresh talent. Robert set down the list and looked at Anna with new respect. You're not just building a team, you're making a point. I'm building the best team for the job, Anna corrected. The fact that it makes a point is a bonus. Over the next month, Anna's team took shape. Miguel, Lee, and 4 others joined Horizon Tech, each bringing unique perspectives and hidden talents. The atmosphere on the 30th floor shifted as these newcomers tackled problems with approaches no one had considered before. The AI healthcare project that had nearly collapsed was now back on track, stronger than before. Anna and her team had redesigned the core architecture, making it more stable and secure. Robert, who had always been somewhat distant from the day-to-day technical work, found himself spending more time on the 30th floor, fascinated by their progress. One evening, as most employees were heading home, Robert stopped by Anna's office. She was still at her computer, lines of code reflecting in her glasses. "You should go home, get some rest," Robert said from the doorway. Anna looked up, startled. "Just finishing up this section. Lost track of time." Robert smiled. "You know, I used to be like that. Couldn't tear myself away from a project until it was perfect." "Used to be," Anna teased. "Somewhere along the way, running the business took over," Robert admitted. "I miss those days sometimes, when it was just me and the code, building something from nothing." Anna saved her work and leaned back in her chair. "It's not too late, you know. You're still the same person who built this company from scratch." Robert considered this. "Maybe you're right. Maybe I've been hiding in my executive suite too long." He hesitated, then added, "Would you mind if I joined your team sessions sometimes? Not as the boss, just as another programmer." Anna's face lit up. "We'd love that. Fair warning, though. Lee will absolutely call you out if your code isn't up to standard. She doesn't care who signs her paycheck." Robert laughed. "That's exactly what I need." As they walked to the elevator together, Robert grew serious again. "You know, when I built this company, I had all these ideals. I was going to change the world, create technology that helped people, build a workplace where talent was all that mattered." He sighed. "Somewhere along the way, I think I lost sight of that." The elevator arrived with a soft ding. They stepped inside, and Anna pressed the button for the lobby. "It's never too late to find your way back," she said quietly. Robert nodded, looking thoughtful. "No, I suppose it isn't." As they reached the lobby and prepared to go their separate ways, Robert said, "By the way, the board wants to meet you. They've been hearing about the miraculous turnaround of our AI project." "I told them it wasn't a miracle, it was you." Anna felt a flutter of nervousness. "The board? Like the actual board of directors?" "Don't worry," Robert assured her with a smile. "They don't bite. Much." His expression grew more serious. "They need to see what I've seen. That sometimes extraordinary talent comes in packages we don't expect." As Anna headed home that night, the city lights glimmering around her, she couldn't help but smile. Just 6 weeks ago, she'd been invisible, another face in a cleaning uniform. Now she was leading a team at one of the most prestigious tech companies in the country, about to present to the board of directors. Life could change in an instant. Sometimes all it took was one person willing to truly see you. Anna had never owned a business suit before. She stood in front of the small mirror in her apartment, hardly recognizing herself in the navy blue outfit she'd purchased for the board meeting. Her mother had taught her to present her best self to the world, even when that world didn't always see her clearly. "You look like a CEO," her brother Theo said from the doorway of her bedroom. He'd moved in temporarily while looking for work, sleeping on her pull-out couch. "Those stuffy board members won't know what hit them." Anna smiled, though her stomach was doing flips. "Let's hope they just listen to the tech presentation and don't ask too many personal questions. If they're smart, they'll be taking notes." "On everything you say," Theo replied. "You saved their company, after all." As Anna gathered her things to leave, Theo added, "Mom would be so proud of you, you know." Anna paused at the door. Their mother had passed away 2 years ago, never getting to see her daughter finally break into the field she'd studied for. "I hope so." "She is," Theo said firmly. "She always told everyone her daughter was going to change the world someday." With those words warming her heart, Anna headed to Horizon Tech. The boardroom was located on the top floor of the building, a place Anna had cleaned many times, but never entered during business hours. 12 serious-faced people in expensive clothes sat around a massive table with Robert at the head. He stood when she entered. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ana Diallo, the innovative mind behind our AI systems revival. Ana, our board of directors. Ana took a deep breath and stepped forward. It's an honor to meet you all. As she set up her presentation, she could feel their eyes on her. Curious, evaluating, perhaps skeptical. Robert had warned her that some board members had questioned his decision to create a new division around someone with no industry experience. Just show them what you showed me, he'd advised. Your work speaks for itself. For the next 40 minutes, Ana walked the board through the technical details of how she and her team had stabilized the AI healthcare system and enhanced its capabilities. She explained complex concepts in clear, accessible language, pointing out the innovative approach they'd taken to problems that had stumped the original developers. As she spoke, she could see the initial skepticism on some faces giving way to genuine interest. Even Howard Reynolds, the oldest board member who Robert had described as perpetually unimpressed, was leaning forward, following her explanation with focused attention. When Ana finished her technical presentation, she moved to the second part, introducing her team and their unconventional backgrounds. Miguel Castro taught himself coding while working as a school janitor. Lee Wong built networks before most of us had heard of the internet. Zoe Thompson is a former teacher who created educational software in her spare time. She showed slides of her team at work, highlighting their unique contributions. What these individuals have in common isn't traditional tech backgrounds. It's problem-solving ability, perseverance, and fresh perspectives that aren't constrained by how things have always been done. Ana concluded by showing the metrics, how productivity had increased, how bug reports had decreased, and how the healthcare AI project was now ahead of schedule. Any questions? She asked, her heart pounding but her voice steady. Howard Reynolds raised his hand first. Ms. Diallo, your results are impressive, but I'm curious. Why did it take a system failure for Horizon to discover your talents? And how many others like you might be out there hidden in plain sight? The room fell silent. It was the question that hung over everything, the uncomfortable truth behind Ana's story. Ana glanced at Robert, who nodded slightly, encouraging her to speak freely. Mr. Reynolds, I applied to Horizon Tech 3 times over the past 5 years. I never received a response. She kept her tone matter-of-fact, not accusatory. I'm not unique. There are brilliant minds being overlooked every day because they don't fit our narrow image of what a tech worker looks like, or because they took an unconventional path. Reynolds nodded thoughtfully. A costly oversight for our company, it seems. Another board member, Jessica Huang, spoke up. What would you suggest we do differently, Ms. Diallo? Look beyond the resume, Ana answered without hesitation. Create pathways for people with non-traditional backgrounds. Implement blind technical assessments that focus on skills rather than credentials. And recognize that diversity isn't just about meeting quotas. It's about bringing together different ways of thinking to solve problems more effectively. The questions continued for another 30 minutes. Some were technical, drilling down into the specifics of the AI system. Others focused on Ana's team and their methods. By the end, even the most skeptical board members seemed impressed. As the meeting concluded, Robert stood again. Thank you, Ana. Would you mind waiting outside for a few minutes while the board discusses some internal matters? Ana gathered her materials and left the room, wondering what they might be saying about her presentation. She found a small waiting area nearby and tried not to check her watch too frequently as 10 minutes stretched to 20, and then 30. Finally, the boardroom door opened and Robert emerged, his face unreadable. Well? Ana asked, unable to contain her curiosity. What did they think? A slow smile spread across Robert's face. They want to create a new initiative, Horizon Pathways, a program to identify and develop talent from non-traditional backgrounds. His smile widened. And they want you to lead it. Ana stared at him in disbelief. Lead it? But I've only been here 2 months. 2 months in which you've completely transformed our approach to our most important project, Robert pointed out. Besides, who better to lead a program like this than someone who's lived the experience? Before Ana could respond, Howard Reynolds emerged from the boardroom. The elderly man approached her with a solemnity that made Anna stand a little straighter. "Ms. Diallo," he said, extending his hand. "I've been on this board for 25 years. In that time, I've seen many talented individuals come through those doors. Few have impressed me as thoroughly as you did today." Anna shook his hand, momentarily, speechless. "This Pathways program was my suggestion," Reynolds continued. "I've watched our tech industry become increasingly homogeneous over the decades. We need to correct course." He fixed her with a penetrating gaze. "Will you help us?" Anna found her voice. "Yes, sir. I'd be honored." As Reynolds nodded and walked away, Robert turned to Anna with an expression of amazement. "Howard Reynolds doesn't give compliments lightly. I think you might have just made history." The weeks that followed were a blur of activity. While continuing to lead her team on the AI healthcare project, Anna now had the additional responsibility of designing the Horizon Pathways program from the ground up. She threw herself into the research, studying similar initiatives at other companies, identifying what worked and what didn't. She consulted with educational experts, community leaders, and tech veterans. Most importantly, she listened to stories from people like herself, those with talent and passion who had found doors closed to them for reasons that had nothing to do with their abilities. Late one evening, as Anna was working in her office, there was a knock at her door. She looked up to find Devin, the IT director, standing awkwardly in the doorway. "Got a minute?" he asked. "Sure," Anna said, curious. Their interactions had been purely professional since she'd joined the company, with Devin maintaining a certain distance. He entered and sat in the chair across from her desk. "I heard about the Pathways program. It sounds impressive." "Thanks," Anna replied. "We're hoping to launch the first cohort in 3 months." Devin nodded, then fell silent, seeming to struggle with what to say next. Finally, he took a deep breath. "I owe you an apology." Anna raised her eyebrows but remained quiet, letting him continue. "When you first joined the team, I was less than welcoming," Devin admitted. "I felt threatened. Here was someone who'd figured out in one night what my entire department couldn't solve in days. It wasn't a competition," Anna said gently. "I know that now," Devin agreed. "The thing is, watching you and your team work over these past months has been eye-opening. You approach problems differently. You see things the rest of us miss." He smiled ruefully. "It's been a humbling experience, a needed one." Anna returned his smile. "We all have blind spots, Devin. That's why diverse teams work better. No one person has all the answers." "Which brings me to why I'm here," Devin said, straightening in his chair. "I want to help with Pathways. My department has been too homogeneous for too long. I want to change that." Anna couldn't hide her surprise. "That would be fantastic. We could use your input on the technical assessment portion of the program." They spent the next hour discussing ideas, the initial awkwardness fading as they focused on the work. By the time Devin left, Anna felt a shift had occurred, not just between them personally, but in the larger culture of the company. Change was happening one conversation at a time. The official announcement of Horizon Pathways came 3 months later, at a company-wide meeting. Robert introduced the program to thunderous applause, but the loudest cheers came when he called Anna to the stage. Standing before hundreds of Horizon employees, some of whom had never noticed her during her years cleaning their offices, Anna felt a surge of emotion. This moment wasn't just about her. It was about everyone who'd ever been overlooked, underestimated, or dismissed. "Horizon Pathways isn't charity," she told the crowd. "It's an investment in untapped talent. It's recognizing that innovation doesn't come from everyone thinking the same way or following the same path." She paused, looking out at the sea of faces. "It's about seeing people, truly seeing them, for what they can contribute, not where they came from." As she finished her speech and the room erupted in applause, Anna caught Robert's eye. He was beaming with pride, not as a boss celebrating an employee's success, but as someone witnessing the beginning of something transformative. Later, as employees mingled at the reception following the announcement, Anna found herself approached, by a young woman in a catering uniform who was clearing empty glasses from a table. "Excuse me, Ms. Diallo?" the woman said hesitantly. "I just wanted to say, your story is inspiring. I'm studying computer science at community college at night while working days to pay the bills." Anna smiled warmly. "What's your name?" "Priya," the woman replied. "Well, Priya," Anna said, taking out her business card and writing a personal email address on the back. "When you're ready to apply for an internship, contact me directly. I'd love to see what you can do." The look of hope that dawned on Priya's face was familiar to Anna. It was the same hope she had carried for years, waiting for someone to give her a chance to prove herself. Now Anna wasn't just getting her own chance. She was creating chances for others. The circle was expanding, and with it, possibilities that no one had imagined just a few months ago when a cleaning woman paused to look at a computer screen showing error messages. 1 year after, Anna's discovery in the server room, Horizon Tech had transformed. The Pathways program had welcomed its third cohort of participants. Anna's original team had expanded to 20 people, overseeing multiple projects across the company. The healthcare AI that had nearly crashed the system was now in pilot programs at 3 major hospitals, showing promising results in early disease detection. But success brought new challenges. "We've got a problem," Lily announced, walking into Anna's office without knocking. After months of working closely together, they'd developed a comfortable friendship. Anna looked up from her computer. "What kind of problem?" "TechCore magazine wants to do a cover story on you. The cleaner who saved a billion-dollar company. They're calling it a modern Cinderella story." Anna groaned. "I've told every reporter the same thing. This isn't about me. It's about changing how we identify and develop talent." "I know," Lily agreed, flopping into a chair. "But people love a good rags-to-riches narrative. It's easier to focus on one exceptional individual than to examine systemic issues." Anna pushed away from her desk. "The whole point of what we're doing is that I'm not exceptional. There are thousands of people with abilities that are being wasted because of biases and narrow thinking." She sighed. "If I do this interview, they'll try to make it sound like I'm special, 1 in a million. That undermines everything we're trying to accomplish." Lily considered this. "What if we counteroffer? Tell them you'll only do the interview if they also spotlight the Pathways program and some of its participants. Make it about the movement, not just your personal journey." A slow smile spread across Anna's face. "Lily, has anyone ever told you you're brilliant?" "Only every day," Lily replied with a grin. Later that afternoon, Anna met with Robert in the small, garden terrace on the building's roof. It had become their regular spot for discussions that needed fresh air and perspective. TechCore agreed to the new angle. Anna told him, as they settled on a bench overlooking the city. "They'll feature Pathways prominently, with profiles of at least 3 participants." "That's excellent news," Robert said, "though I'm not surprised they agreed. You're still the heart of the story, Anna. People want to know how someone goes from cleaning offices to leading innovation at a major tech company." "That's the problem," Anna said, frustration edging her voice. "Everyone wants to frame this as an extraordinary case, when it should be highlighting how many talented people are being overlooked every day." Robert was quiet for a moment, watching a butterfly land on a nearby flowering plant. "You know, when I started this company, I thought merit was all that mattered. I truly believed that if you were good enough, you'd succeed regardless of background." Anna raised an eyebrow. "And now? Now I understand that talent is evenly distributed, but opportunity isn't." He turned to face her. "Your story is powerful precisely because it shouldn't be remarkable. It should be commonplace. But it isn't yet. And that's why we need to tell it." Anna considered his words. "I just don't want to be held up as the exception that proves the rule." "Then don't let them frame you that way," Robert said simply. "Use the platform to challenge the narrative. You've never been afraid to speak truth to power before. Don't start now." Their conversation was interrupted by Robert's phone buzzing. He glanced at it and frowned. "What's wrong?" Anna asked. "Board meeting just got moved up. Apparently Preston wants to discuss fourth quarter projections." Robert stood, straightening his jacket. Preston Gardner is our newest board member, represents our largest investor group. I've heard of him, Anna said. Isn't he the one who questioned the resources being allocated to Pathways? Robert nodded grimly. He's focused on short-term returns. Doesn't quite see the value in what we're building. He hesitated, then asked, "Would you join me for this meeting? I think it's time Preston heard directly from you." An hour later, Anna found herself back in the boardroom, this time sitting beside Robert rather than presenting. Preston Gardner dominated the conversation from the start, a sharp-featured man in his 50s with the confident air of someone used to getting his way. "The numbers don't lie," Preston was saying, gesturing to a slide showing budget allocations. "We're spending an inordinate amount on unproven initiatives while our core business growth is slowing. Our core business was stagnating before we implemented these changes," Robert countered. "Innovation doesn't happen without investment." Preston's gaze flickered to Anna. "And speaking of investment, this Pathways program is consuming resources that could be better allocated to proven talent. We're essentially running a charity at shareholders' expense." Anna felt a surge of heat rise to her face but kept her expression neutral. Robert had warned her that Preston would be provocative. "Ms. Diallo," Preston continued, addressing her directly, "I understand you've done remarkable work here. But do you honestly believe we can build a competitive workforce from people with no formal training or background in tech?" The room fell silent. All eyes turned to Anna. "Mr. Gardner," she replied, her voice steady, "the first cohort of Pathways participants has already contributed to 3 patent applications. The second cohort developed a testing protocol that reduced our QA cycle by 40%. She leaned forward slightly. "As for formal training, I have a computer science degree from a top university. Yet I was cleaning floors here because traditional hiring practices couldn't see past certain biases. An unfortunate oversight in your specific case," Preston acknowledged dismissively. "But that hardly justifies an entire program." "Doesn't it?" Anna asked. "If a company with Horizon's resources and reputation could miss someone like me, how many others are being overlooked? The talent shortage in tech isn't due to lack of capable people. It's due to artificial barriers we've created." "That's a lovely sentiment," Preston said with a thin smile. "But business decisions need to be based on hard data, not feel-good stories." Robert started to speak, but Anna placed a gentle hand on his arm. She reached into her folder and pulled out a document, sliding it across to Preston. "You want hard data, Mr. Gardner? Here's a comparative analysis of traditional hires versus Pathways participants over the past year. Retention rates, project contributions, innovation metrics, code quality scores." She tapped the paper. "Pathways participants outperform traditional hires in every category except initial onboarding time." Preston glanced at the document, his expression unchanged. "These are internal metrics that can be manipulated." "Then look at the bottom line," Anna continued calmly. "The healthcare AI project that I initially salvaged has now secured partnerships worth $200 million in projected revenue. My team, built largely from people with non-traditional backgrounds, delivered it 6 weeks ahead of schedule and under budget." Several board members were now looking at Preston with expressions ranging from curiosity to amusement. Howard Reynolds in particular seemed to be enjoying the exchange. "The problem, Mr. Gardner," Anna concluded, "isn't that Pathways costs too much. It's that we didn't start it years ago." Preston studied her for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Then he turned to Robert. "Your protege is certainly passionate, if nothing else." "She's also right," Howard Reynolds spoke up. "I've been reviewing the same data, Preston. The Pathways initiative is already showing positive ROI, which is remarkable for any talent development program in its first year." The discussion continued for another hour, with various board members weighing in. By the end, while Preston remained skeptical, the majority of the board reaffirmed their support for the program. As they left the meeting, Robert pulled Anna aside. "That was impressive. Not many people stand their ground with Preston Gardner." "Was I too confrontational?" Anna asked, suddenly worried. Robert laughed. "No, you were exactly what this company needs. someone who fights for what's right, not just what's easy. He paused, then added more seriously, Preston represents an old way of thinking that's still deeply entrenched in our industry. We need to be prepared for more resistance as we push for change. I'm not afraid of resistance, Anna said. Every person in Pathways has already overcome more obstacles than most executives will face in their entire careers. Later that evening, Anna hosted a monthly dinner for her original team at her new apartment, a spacious 2-bedroom she'd purchased in a neighborhood she could never have afforded on her cleaner's salary. These gatherings had become a tradition, a way to stay connected as they all took on more responsibilities. So you actually stood up to Preston Gardner? Miguel asked, impressed, as they sat around Anna's dining table. That guy's notorious in the industry. Anna was magnificent, Lee confirmed, having been present at the board meeting as part of a different presentation. She didn't raise her voice once, just systematically dismantled his arguments with facts. It wasn't just me, Anna insisted, passing a bowl of salad. The program's success speaks for itself. All I did was point that out. Zoe, who had recently been promoted to lead her own project team, raised her glass. To Anna, who doesn't just open doors, she builds new ones where none existed before. Everyone clinked glasses, but Anna shook her head. No, to all of us. We're changing things together. One project, one person, one conversation at a time. As the evening progressed, the conversation shifted to their current work and future plans. Miguel was developing a mentorship component for Pathways. Lee was creating a network security protocol that was drawing attention from other companies. Zoe's educational software module was being adapted for the healthcare AI to make it more accessible to medical staff with varying technical backgrounds. Watching her friends, colleagues who had become like family, Anna felt a profound sense of gratitude. A year ago, she had been invisible in the corporate world, her talents unrecognized. Now she was not only seen but was helping others become visible too. After everyone had left, Anna stood on her small balcony, looking out at the city lights. Her phone buzzed with a message from Robert. Preston has requested another meeting, just you, me, and him, tomorrow morning. Should be interesting. Anna smiled to herself. Whatever Preston had to say, she was ready. The path forward wouldn't be without obstacles. But for the first time in her professional life, she wasn't walking it alone. The next morning, Anna arrived at Robert's office to find Preston already there. To her surprise, his typically stern expression had been replaced by something almost resembling respect. Ms. Diallo, he said, rising to shake her hand. I've spent the evening reviewing your data in greater detail. And? She asked, taking a seat. And I believe I may have been hasty in my assessment of the Pathways program. The words seemed difficult for him to say. The innovation metrics in particular are compelling. Robert looked as surprised as Anna felt. This is an unexpected development, Preston. I'm a businessman, Preston said simply. When presented with convincing evidence, I adjust my position. He turned to Anna. I have some ideas for scaling the program more efficiently. Would you be open to discussing them? As they spent the next hour in surprisingly productive conversation, Anna realized that change happened in many ways, sometimes through confrontation, sometimes through collaboration, but always through persistence. The TechCore magazine arrived 3 weeks later. Anna was featured on the cover, but not alone. She stood with 4 Pathways participants of diverse backgrounds, ages, and ethnicities. The headline read, Reimagining Talent, How Horizon Tech is Changing the Face of Innovation. It wasn't a Cinderella story after all. It was something far more powerful, the beginning of a movement. 3 years had passed since the night Anna fixed the failing system at Horizon Tech. The company had grown exponentially, with its healthcare AI now implemented in hospitals nationwide. The Pathways program had expanded to 5 cities, creating a pipeline of diverse talent not just for Horizon, but for the tech industry as a whole. Anna's role had evolved too. She now served as Horizon's Chief Innovation Officer, overseeing technology, strategy across the company. Her office on the executive floor had floor-to-ceiling windows with a view of the city skyline, a far cry from the supply closet where she used to store her cleaning cart. On this particular morning, Anna stood in that very same supply closet, a wave of nostalgia washing over her. "Feeling sentimental?" Robert asked, appearing in the doorway. Anna smiled. "Just remembering where it all started. Sometimes I still can't believe how much has changed." "All because you couldn't resist fixing a broken system," Robert said, leaning against the doorframe. They walked together to the elevator, heading up to the conference room where a special ceremony was about to take place. "Nervous?" Robert asked as they rode up. "A little," Anna admitted. "It's been a while since I've done this kind of thing." "You'll be great," Robert assured her. "No one could be better for this task." The elevator doors opened to reveal a conference room filled with 30 young faces. The newest cohort of Pathways participants gathered for their orientation. Their expressions ranged from excited to anxious to determinedly confident. Anna took a deep breath and stepped to the front of the room. "Welcome to Horizon Tech," she began. "My name is Anna Diallo, and 3 years ago, I was cleaning the offices in this building." She saw surprise register on several faces. Good, she had their attention. "Each of you has taken a different path to get here today. Some of you taught yourselves to code while working full-time jobs. Others returned to tech after years in different careers. A few of you came to this country with degrees from your home nations that weren't recognized here." Anna moved around the table, making eye contact with different participants. "What you all have in common is that traditional doors were closed to you, and what Horizon has learned is that we were the ones missing out by not finding you sooner." For the next hour, Anna shared the story of how Pathways began, not as a charitable initiative but as a recognition that talent comes in many forms. She explained how the program worked, what would be expected of them, and the support they would receive. "This won't be easy," she told them honestly. "You'll be challenged every day. Some people will doubt you belong here. Prove them wrong, not with words but with your work." As the orientation concluded, a young woman approached Anna. "Ms. Diallo, I wanted to thank you personally. My name is Priya Patel." Anna's face lit up with recognition. "The catering server from the Pathways announcement 3 years ago." Priya nodded, beaming. "I finished my degree while working 3 jobs. Applied to the program twice before getting in." "Persistence," Anna said warmly. "That's a quality you can't teach." She gestured around the room. "Have you met your cohort yet?" "A few people," Priya said. "Everyone seems so impressive. I'm worried I might be in over my head." Anna recognized, the self-doubt in Priya's voice. She had felt it herself many times. "Let me introduce you to someone who felt the same way on his first day." She led Priya across the room to where Miguel was chatting with a group of participants. "Miguel, this is Priya. She's worried about being in over her head." Miguel laughed. "My first week here, I had to Google basic terms during bathroom breaks just to understand the conversations happening around me." He put a reassuring hand on Priya's shoulder. "But here's the secret. Everyone feels that way sometimes, even the people who've been here for years." As Miguel continued talking with Priya, Anna stepped away, observing the room. Robert joined her, following her gaze. "Quite a change from the original group of 6, he commented. Anna nodded. "And to think, if your system hadn't crashed that night, none of this might have happened. I've come to believe that was the best system failure in the company's history," Robert said with a smile. "Though maybe don't tell our shareholders I said that." After the orientation, Anna returned to her office to find Lily waiting with a stack of papers. "The quarterly reports are in," Lily announced. "And you've got that meeting with the education partners at 2. Anna took the reports. "How do the numbers look?" "Better than projected," Lily said. "The healthcare AI revenue is up 22% from last quarter. And here's something interesting. The teams with the highest percentage of Pathways graduates are showing the strongest innovation metrics." "Send that data to Preston," Anna said. "He loves when the numbers support our feel-good story," as he puts it. Lily laughed. "Will do. Oh, and one more thing. You've been invited to give the commencement speech at Georgia Tech this year." Anna looked up in surprise. "Really?" "Really," Lily confirmed. "Full circle moment, wouldn't you say?" Later that afternoon, Anna met with representatives from 3 universities to discuss expanding pathways to include direct partnerships with their computer science departments. The goal was to identify promising students early, particularly those from underrepresented backgrounds, and provide mentorship throughout their education. The talent gap in tech isn't about lack of interest or ability, Anna explained to the university partners. It's about lack of access and visibility. We want to change that equation. Dean Washington from City College nodded enthusiastically. This aligns perfectly with our mission. Many of our students are the first in their families to attend college. They have the aptitude but lack the networks that more privileged students take for granted. Exactly, Anna agreed. And we're not just looking for traditional CS majors. Some of our most innovative team members came from other disciplines: art, psychology, even philosophy. As the meeting wrapped up, Anna felt a familiar sense of purpose. This work, creating pathways where none had existed before, had become her mission. It extended far beyond her own story now, reaching into communities and institutions across the country. That evening, Anna had dinner plans with Robert and his wife Christine. Over the past 3 years, their professional relationship had evolved into a genuine friendship. They met at a small family-owned restaurant that had become their regular spot. To another successful quarter, Robert said, raising his glass, once they were seated. And to the new cohort, Christine added, 30 more lives about to change. Anna smiled, clinking her glass with theirs. Christine had become a key supporter of Pathways, using her background in education to help design the training components. I saw Priya today, Anna told them. The young woman I met at the launch event 3 years ago. She's finally in the program. That's wonderful, Christine exclaimed. Full circle moments seem to be the theme of the day. Speaking of which, Robert said, setting down his glass, I wanted to discuss something with you, Anna. Something important. Anna raised an eyebrow. That sounds serious. Robert nodded. It is. I'm considering stepping down as CEO. What? Anna was genuinely shocked. Why? The company is thriving. Precisely. Because it's thriving, it's the right time for transition, Robert explained. I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm ready to focus on new challenges, maybe start another company. But who would... Anna's voice trailed off as she saw the look exchanged between Robert and Christine. The board has already discussed potential successors, Robert continued. Your name was at the top of every list. Anna sat back in her chair, speechless. CEO of Horizon Tech? The idea had never crossed her mind. I don't know what to say, she finally managed. You don't have to decide right now, Robert assured her. Take some time to think about it, but I want you to know that this isn't charity or tokenism. You've earned this through your work, your vision, and your leadership. The company would be in excellent hands, Christine added softly. Anna's mind was racing. From cleaner to CEO in just over 3 years, it seemed impossible. And yet, what about Pathways, she asked. That work is still so important. And it would continue, Robert promised. In fact, as CEO, you could expand its reach even further. Make it an industry standard, not just a Horizon initiative. They spent the rest of dinner discussing the possibility, with Robert outlining what the transition might look like. By the end of the evening, Anna's initial shock had given way to cautious consideration. Walking home later, Anna called her brother Theo. You're not going to believe what Robert just proposed, she told him, relaying the dinner conversation. CEO? Theo exclaimed. Anna, that's incredible. Though honestly, not surprising. You've been basically running things anyway from what you've told me. It's a huge responsibility, Anna said. I'm not sure I'm ready. Remember what Mom used to say? Theo asked. If you wait until you're ready, you'll be waiting your whole life. Anna smiled at the memory. Their mother had been full of such wisdom. She also said to sleep on big decisions. True, Theo agreed. But know this, whatever you decide, You've already done more than most people dream of accomplishing in a lifetime. After hanging up, Anna continued her walk home, her mind still processing the conversation with Robert. The city lights glimmered around her, the same lights she used to see from the windows she cleaned. Life had a strange way of coming full circle. The next morning, Anna arrived at work early. She had slept surprisingly well, waking with a clarity she hadn't expected. She headed straight to Robert's office, finding him already at his desk reviewing reports. "Good morning," he greeted her. "You're here early." "I needed to talk to you before the day gets busy," Anna said, taking a seat across from him. "I've been thinking about your offer." Robert set down his papers, giving her his full attention. "If I were to accept," Anna began carefully, "I'd want to do it on my own terms. Not just continuing your vision, but bringing my own to the table." "I would expect nothing less," Robert said with a smile. "Horizon has the potential to transform not just how we find talent, but how we develop technology itself," Anna continued, warming to her theme. "More inclusive teams create more inclusive products. That's not just good ethics, it's good business." Robert nodded, looking increasingly pleased. "So, is this a yes?" "It's a, let's talk about how this would work," Anna replied. "I need to understand the board's expectations, the transition timeline, how my current responsibilities would be handled." "All reasonable concerns," Robert agreed. "I'll set up a meeting with the key board members." He paused, studying her face. "But something tells me you've already made your decision." Anna smiled. "Let's just say I'm cautiously optimistic about the possibility." Later that morning, Anna visited the training room where the new Pathways cohort was having their first technical workshop. She stood at the back, watching as Miguel led them through a problem-solving exercise. Priya was sitting near the front, focused intently on her laptop screen. Around the room, 30 faces reflected the diversity that Anna had dreamed of bringing to the tech world. Different ages, backgrounds, ethnicities, all united by talent and determination. This was the future Anna had been working toward, not just her own success but creating opportunities for others to succeed. Whether as Chief Innovation Officer or potentially as CEO, that mission wouldn't change. As Anna slipped quietly out of the room, her phone buzzed with a message from Robert. "Board meeting set for tomorrow morning. Howard says it's about time we had a CEO who understands both the human and technical sides of the business." Anna smiled, typing back, "Tell Howard, I look forward to hearing what the board has to say." She put her phone away and headed to her office, her step lighter than it had been in months. Whatever came next, she was ready for it. The cleaning woman who had paused to fix a broken system had found not just a new job, but a new purpose. And in doing so, she had helped a billionaire discover something far more valuable than technological innovation, the untapped human potential that had been right in front of him all along. Sometimes the most revolutionary changes begin with the simplest of moments. Someone stopping to fix what's broken, someone else taking the time to notice. And from those small beginnings, entire worlds can transform.